Are we on? Yep. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Warriors. That's what you are. You guys have been here since Friday. So good job. It's so good to have you guys back again. And without any delay, we'll start as soon as I pray. But I just want to let everyone know, after this, we have one-on-one consultations, and everyone signed up, but we still have 2 spaces. 10:45 a.m. is open, and 12:30 p.m. is open, in case anyone wants to sign up some more. All right, so let's pray, and Pastor Josue will come up. Heavenly Father, King of Glory, we thank you once more for bringing us here safely. Thank you for waking us up this morning and protecting us through the night from evil, from natural disasters, dear Lord. We pray that you'll be with those who are on their way, if any, and we pray that we will get the best and the most out of this last session. We thank you for your goodness. We thank you for your kindness. We thank you for the wisdom you've imparted to us today, throughout this weekend, through Pastor Josue. And we pray that you will continue to lead us this morning in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Are we on? Are we good? Can you hear me? Yes? All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Let me share with you a little detail before we get started. Okay? At first, when we first did our envelope system budget, I was a little embarrassed at our numbers. You can understand, right? My allowance, $20 a month. I mean, how embarrassing is that, right? You only have $20 a month. Yeah, I only have $20. I say it proudly now. Why? Because it's been a vehicle to take me someplace. You only save $20 a month for clothes? At the beginning, embarrassed, right? Yes. But you have to be willing to live like nobody else, to later you can live like nobody else. Do you understand that? You have to be willing to humble yourself, humble your budget, humble how you're living, change how you live, go to an uncomfortable place. Does this make sense? If your life is going to turn around, it's either that or you end up getting 2 more jobs and don't sleep anymore. Does that make sense? So if you cannot afford to work a whole lot more, right, then change how you're living. Change how you're living, right? And you might say, Pastor Swave, really? Do you do household needs off of $25 a month? Yes, I do. And I limit myself to that. And when all of a sudden I open that envelope and there's no more money left, I'm done spending for that month. I go, sorry, no more money. Now there's money in the bank. But I go, sorry, no more money for that subject. We're going to have to wait till next month, right? I can either do this or I can either do this. And guess what? I just picked what's most important for that month, and the rest has to wait. That's all. That's all, because I want my dreams to come true. Does that make sense? Your lives, if you're listening to me right now, your lives are about to change. You might say, I'm not really feeling the change. Wait, it shall come. Does that make sense? It shall come, all right? What does it say? It says, no discipline at the beginning, the Bible says. You've heard this verse before. No discipline at the beginning seems comfortable, right? That means, what is it saying? It's uncomfortable. But give into it. It will yield a harvest of righteousness, right? Yes, we have been too lax in our spending habits, in the choices that we've made. We've been kind of whimsical, as if we have all the money in the world. No, you don't. You don't, okay? But if you can make smart decisions. And I've been able to speak to some of you yesterday. Some of you that I've been able to speak to as I've listened to you, I've realized you've been making smart decisions. Yes. And some of you are at the beginning of it and go, Pastor, I see my life changing. I see my life making more smart decisions. And I have to be honest with you. I don't make smart decisions alone. I make smart decisions with my wife. Do you understand that? Do you know how often my wife and I talk about money? Every day. Every day. You might say, really? Yeah, right? Go to the grocery store and get me some garlic and some onions, and also get me some green beans. That has to do with money, right? Yeah, go. That's how we live our lives. There's nothing wrong with it. Or if I've got a dream for our retirement and we talk about it. We talk about it, right? And let me share one more thing with you. In our family, no is stronger than yes. I'll let that sink in. No is stronger than yes, right? At any time that one of the partners says no, it's no. My wife says no, it's no. I say no, it's no. In order to get a yes, we both have to say yes. Okay? All right. Was that helpful to you? That was extra information. You didn't even have to pay for it. All right. Let's get started, guys. Here we go. We would do, okay, look at this. The Bible talks about money, right? The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not servant. The borrower is slave to the lender. Anybody like to be a slave? Anybody would like to sign up for slavery? When you jump into debt, that's what you're doing. You're signing up for slavery, right? Because one way or another, that credit card wants their money back. Okay? Let's go on. Okay. We're not going to do a debt snowball recap. We've already done that yesterday, remember? We're going to do an investment recap. I'd love for you to tell me, what did you pick up yesterday that you didn't know about investing, right? Could somebody help me out? Where's Vanna White at? Vanna's on break, right? Company policy, she's on break. Can somebody help me, please? Okay, here we go. There we go, it's on. Go ahead. Okay. Hands, what did you learn yesterday about investing that you said, oh, whoa.
What I learned, the monthly, putting money aside monthly. I didn't think about that. I was just thinking, okay, I know I have to invest. But now I know, no, make it fixed,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
And well, we can increase it over time.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yes. Make it something that you do monthly. It's intentional. Yes, Sandra.
If possible, make it 15% of your income.
Yes. If you can afford it. Now, mind you, you have to be out of debt. You have to be out of debt. And we're going to see that today. Very good, Sandra. Thank you.
I learned that the interest earned on Roth dollars is tax-free when you take it out.
It's tax-free when you take it out. Yes. Very good. Very, very good. Someone else.
Investing in mutual funds rather than stocks.
Yes, invest in mutual funds. Why? Because mutual funds are really 100 stocks, right? You're investing in one mutual fund, that's 100 different companies. So you're diversified, right? Doesn't the Bible say invest in 7? Nay, I say invest in 8, because you do not know which one will do well and which will not do well. Or you do not know if both will do well. Isn't that what it says in the book of Ecclesiastes? Yes, it does say that. It's talking about investing, right? Cast your bread. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 1. Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days it will come back to you. What is that talking about? It's talking about investing. Yes. Someone else. Anything else that you learned about investing? I know my sister's on the back row over here. I know you guys were paying attention. You guys were sitting over here. I'm paying attention. All right? Remember, you're the one. I do not quickly forget that Miss Gucci. Or is that Chanel? That's Chanel. My bad. Yeah, okay. All right, anyone? Over here, my sister. We're not going to take a lot of time here.
The earlier you start investing, the better it is for you.
Yes. The earlier time is, well, actually there's a business concept. They say time is money. Thank you. Time is money. Yes. The earlier you invest, the more systematic, the more controlled you can be at it. My son, if he does 15%, he's going to be somewhere in the realm, right now, 23 years old. He's investing. He'll be somewhere in the realm of $5+ million when he retires. Why? Because time is on his side. Okay? Yes?
And also to teach your children young.
Yes, teach your children. Don't sit here and live your life in a cocoon, right? You're hampering them. You're hamstringing them. Okay? Prepare them so they can be prepared for life. Yes?
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Your body has breath. Oh my goodness, I'm a little bit older, so it's too late. It's not too late. That's right. Yes.
If possible, help your children and pay their education so they start out debt-free.
That's right. Now, mind you, did I say you go into debt to help your children? I never said that. I never said that. No, I don't recommend that. Okay? On the contrary, I'm recommending you stay away from debt. These are all great comments. Yeah, before you guys could do this. Let's keep going. All right, here we go. Baby steps. Oh, you're going to want to pay attention. By the way, I have a gift for you guys at the end. Okay, it's not a tangible. Well, it's tangible, but it's more intangible than tangible. All right? But I think you're going to find it very valid. Here we go. Baby steps. These are going to be important. I'm going to throw them up there, but at the end, I'll delay. Baby step 1. This is the roadmap to success. This is it. Okay? Baby step 1. Save up $1,000 to start an emergency fund. We're going to talk about emergency funds in a moment. Okay? Step number 2. Pay off your debts using the debt snowball. Okay? By the way, these steps are assuming that step 0 is your envelope system budget. Okay? Step number 3, go back and save up 3 to 6 months of expenses for your emergency fund. Okay? Step number 4, invest 15%. Don't take your picture yet. Invest 15% of your household income into a Roth IRA or a pre-tax retirement funds 401k. Okay? Step number 5, save for your children's college fund with an educational 529 plan. Step number 6, pay off your home early. And step number 7, build wealth and give. Now you can take your picture. Okay? Okay. These are baby steps. Okay? Baby steps that help you to do things in the right order. Okay? Imagine that you're in debt and you don't have an emergency fund. And you're going, I'm going to pay off my house first. That's reverse order, right? That's reverse order, all right? All right, can we go on? Are we good? Not yet. Sandra said not yet. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about emergency funds. This is very, very important. Okay? Very, very important. First of all, every family needs an emergency fund. Well, I'm a little bit older. You need an emergency. Well, I'm a little bit younger. We just start. You need an emergency fund. Well, I'm single. I'm not even. You need an emergency fund. Okay? Number 2, emergency funds are for the benefit of your immediate family. Okay? What does that mean? Who is my family right now? My wife is, and I was going to say my son is, but my son is not part of my family right now. Why? Because he's independent and he has his own job, he has his own budget. Does this make sense? He's responsible for himself. Is he not? Dad, I got a flat tire. Well, then fix your tire. Why are you looking at me? Put on the spare and take your rim to the tire shop and get your tire fixed. Get it replaced. You look on the side of the tire, son, right? There's the size. Go handle your business, right? I'm raising a man. I'm not raising a boy. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay? So the emergency fund is for the benefit. Is the emergency fund for my mother and my father? No. No, it is not. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. I know this sounds a little bit harsh, doesn't it? Oh, okay, good. Thank you. It's like, no. Number 3, start the baby steps amount $1,000 before you begin to pay off your debts. Okay? Let's talk about that. All right? Everybody needs an emergency fund. $1,000 is a good starter. Okay? So where do I keep the $1,000? You could keep it in a savings account. You can keep it in an envelope at home. You could keep it in your sock drawer. You can keep it wherever you want, but you need to have access to it pretty quick. You understand? You have to have access to it pretty quick. And when do you get to touch the emergency fund? We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay? Here we go. These funds are for the relief purposes of unexpected expenses of emergency and necessities. So it has to be. If you're going to take a picture, now's a good time. If you're going to access those funds, it needs to be an emergency. Oh my goodness, they have a sale at Bloomingdale's on the pumps. Oh my good. Is that an emergency? No. Okay. Who said yes? Girl, I will snatch you bald-headed. Venus, really? I got you. I like that. I like that, Venus. That's on her. She's grown now. Not responsible. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, so here we go. Can you give me examples of emergencies, please? The water heater broke. Is that an emergency? You better believe it. How could you know that the water heater was going to break? You can't know that. Someone else. Yes?
Your roof broke because of a storm.
Is it what? Your roof?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your roof is leaking water into your house. That's an emergency. Now, mind you, do we need to replace the whole roof? No, we need to patch the hole. Yeah. Patch the hole is the emergency. Okay? The roof had been going bad for some time. You should have been able to see that, right? So you need to pre-plan for that. So the immediate hole is the emergency. Anything else? Yes. I'm sorry? Oh yes, and that one you got to move quick. You got to move quick on that. The refrigerator needs to be repaired. You need that repairman. Can I come tomorrow? No, you can come today. Busted plumbing, yes. Family debt.
If something happens to a spouse.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, family death, yes. Is that an emergency? Yeah, you can't see that coming. Well, and now mind you, it depends. If they got cancer and they're terminal and they're on hospice, you can see that coming. That right there is not an emergency because you have time to kind of take some steps. Does that make sense? Yeah. These are all great examples of what emergencies are. Emergency, I got a question. I need to put 4 new tires on my car. Is that an emergency? No, because you can see that. You got to plan ahead for that. That's why you have a car maintenance fund, right? Yes. Let's say I have a car accident. Is that an emergency? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You may have to pay for a deductible. The moment that happens, that you have to access your emergency fund, you stop paying your debt snowball the next month. You replenish your emergency fund. You do not go into put out a fire with a fire extinguisher that's half empty. You're going to die. Do you understand? You make sure that fire extinguisher is all completely full. I want to see it right to the green arrow, right there. It's max full. That way an emergency comes, I can put it out. Does that make sense? Has there been times when I've had to do that? Yes. I remember one time. We were headed to go see my tax accountant. It sounds fancy, right? Sounds like you're rich or something. It's just someone who does your taxes, right? So then I'm going there, and I'm nervous. And I'm in the car. I'm like this. I'm driving like this. Oh, I can feel the stress in my back. My wife is sitting over there like this in the passenger seat. And I'm like, oh, honey, oh. I mean, radio's off. I'm like, oh, honey, I don't know what we're going to do. And she goes, I said, I'm worried, honey. Baby, I'm worried. And I said, are you worried? And she says, no. I said, I don't think you know how this works. In this marriage, if I'm worried, you're supposed to be worried. Are you with me, Rich? Yeah. If I'm worried, you worry. I said, why ain't you worried? She says, you remember we got that tax refund last year? And I said, yeah, what did we do with that money? I forgot. She says, nothing. I have it all. I put down the windows. I leaned back my chair. I turned on the radio. You see what I'm saying? It was the tax lady says you owe $2,400 in taxes. Here. You with me? Because you can live life more confident and a little bit more boldly when you have taken the steps that you're supposed to. Emergency fund. Okay? All right. Let's talk about being aware of some situations. This is very important, being aware of these situations. Lending money in an effort to help other people. Do you know how many relationships have been lost because you lent someone some money? I do not lend money to anyone. I'm not the bank. I do not lend money. Okay? Oh, you have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What about the Bible verse that says, if somebody asks, you give?
Hold on. I'm not done yet. Number 2, borrowing money from others to cover difficulties. Why shouldn't you be borrowing money? I mean, don't they have their own expenses? Don't they have their own responsibilities? What, they're supposed to be saving for you? Right? No. Have your emergency fund, and your emergency fund is for your immediate family. Sometimes people have bailed someone else out, go over to the house, they got a bigger plasma TV than they do, and you're like, well, oh yeah, I just got it. But where's my, oh, I don't have your money. But I'll get back to you. The best practice is, if you can afford to gift them the requester the money, then give it and do not lend it. Okay, now mind you, if you come to Josue and say, oh, I need some money, then you just gave me permission to ask you questions about what's going on in your life. If you're not ready to answer my questions, then you ain't got it. My money doesn't fit in your wallet. Aren't you working? Yeah. Didn't you get paid yesterday like I did? Yeah. So what'd you do with the money? Well, that's none of your business. Well, why are you in my house? Why are you here? Oh, well, because I need money. Well, then I need some questions answered. Because here's the thing. If you continue to help someone, you're enabling them. You're giving a drunk a drink. Right? That's what you're doing. Right? No. You be responsible for you. Right? Now, have I had to help a family member who made a very poor decision? Yes. And when I gave them the money, I said to them out loud, this is not a loan. This is a gift. I never expect to see this money again. Why did I say that to them? I'm sorry?
I said because they wasn't going to return and...
That was not it. That was not it.
To tell yourself and them that...
I was talking to me. I wasn't talking to them. I was talking to myself in front of them. They thought I was talking to them. Okay? I was talking to myself. I was saying, this is not a loan. This is a gift. I never expect to see this money ever again. I was saying it so that I could hear myself. Why? Because if I feel like that person owes me the money, I begin to harbor feelings. Yeah, she was a nice lady at the meeting and everything, but she never paid me back, right? And right now I'm in need, and she should have paid me back. No, I remember, Deandra, that I said, this is not a loan. This is a gift. And when I remember that, all those feelings can go away, can be flushed away immediately from my system, and I don't harbor hate or feelings of that, right? So many relationships have been lost over that. By the way, you should lend money to your enemies, and you know you ain't going to lend money to your enemies. Right? All right, let's take a look at this. Let's talk about term life insurance. There were some of you who wanted to, who was it who said, yeah, I want you to talk about that, Pastor. Yes. Let's talk about term life. Listen, Pastor Josue loves a couple of things besides Melissa, God, and my son, all right? He loves the envelope system, and he loves term life insurance. Let me tell you why. Unless you're rich, every family should have term, okay? Term life insurance protects your family by replacing your income. Okay, let's talk about that for a moment. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, you need 10 to 12 times your annual income of 20-year term, Deandra. 20-year term. So let's talk about that. Okay? Someone asked me yesterday, what do you have in that bottle, Pastor? I said, water. I have water in my bottle. All right, so let's talk about term life insurance. Here we go. Term life insurance is simply insurance, plain and simple. You die, they pay your family. You don't die, they do nothing for you. Okay? So, if something were to happen to me, I have term life insurance, 10 to 12 times my annual income. So all of a sudden I say, let's say that I make $50,000 a year. Okay? So I get 10 to 12 times. Let's say that I get $600,000 in. That's 12 times my annual income. That's $600,000. So my wife gets a check. She's running, right? And then all of a sudden, she gets the $600,000 check. What does she do with that? She puts that in an investment account so that the interest from that $600,000 replaces my check perpetually, forever. As long as that $600,000 is there, she doesn't start living off of the $600,000. She puts in an investment, and the interest, it just immediately just starts sending her monthly paychecks, and it's like I never stopped working. Do you see how that works? Yes. Any questions about that? Now, you might say, 20-year term. Why 20-year term? Term insurance works like this. You're talking to me. I'm the agent. Okay? We're pretending here. I'm not an agent. Okay? You talk to me. I'm the agent. And you say, hey, Pastor Sway, listen, I need 20-year term. I am 51. I am 35. By the way, the only time you need term life insurance is if you're married. When someone is depending on your income. If you're single, you don't need term life insurance. Don't even waste your time, okay? So I talk to them. I'll come right to you. So you come to me and say, hey, listen, I need term life insurance. I need it for 20 years. So that means for those 20 years that you're going to have that insurance, the rate doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. So, Pastor Sway, why are you saying that I only need it for 20 years? Because that's buying me time to get my act together. What do you mean? Well, to pay off all your debts, to pay off your house, to make sure your kids are through college. Because once that's all done, once all of your debts are paid off, and all of your living expenses a month are basically your utilities and the taxes that come at the end of the year on your property, life is easy, isn't it? Let me answer for you. Yes, Pastor Josue, life is easy then, isn't it? When the mortgage is paid, right? I mean, how much does it take for me to live just paying my utilities and my taxes at the end of the year? Not much. Not much. Actually, off of maybe 3 months of salary, I can pay for all of that. And the rest is gravy on the biscuit. Does that make sense? So I don't need life insurance at that time. I am now self-insured. I have my retirement account that I've been feeding 15%. It's looking really, really good. Everything is paid for. All I've got is the simple utilities, the electricity, gas, water, trash, and the food that I buy. Life is simple. Life is very, very simple, and the amount of money that I need to live is a lot less. Why does my wife need $600,000 at that time? She doesn't. She could live just fine off of her paycheck and take care of my son or whatever the case may be, right? Yes. Is this making sense? Yes. So we have been trained. I am fighting against the mindset of, you need life insurance all the time. Do you? No, you don't. Now, mind you, in some marriages, there is, I may suffer from MWI. Melissa wants it, right? And she goes, but we don't need life insurance. But I want it just in case. Oh, that's okay. But now I'm doing it because that's what makes her feel safe. Does that make sense? It's not now because we need it. Okay? All right. Oh, let's talk about whole life. Whole life insurance is a ripoff, way more expensive than term. They're not the same. They're not the same. Someone has said that whole life insurance is the payday lender of the insurance company. And you know you wouldn't go into a payday lender, right? You might say, Pastor, come on now. Really, what are you talking about? Oh, let's go back. All right. There was a question here first. You had a question.
I think I want to listen to this first before.
Okay. You have a question here? Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to know how, like, where the number 10 to 12 times your annual income, like, why that number?
Because that's going to be the amount that if you put into an interest-bearing account, I'm not talking about your little savings account of 0.03% interest at your bank account in a savings account. We're talking about into a mutual fund that is going to pay you immediately, okay, of like 10 to 12% interest, right? By the way, I'm going to put up the name of my investment counselor up here today. I'll write it up here at the end, so if you would like to contact them, you're free to do it. Again, what is it? What do they say that? They say it's full disclosure. I do not get anything at all. Full disclosure. Okay, I haven't gotten anything, a penny, a candy bar, anything, right? Zero zilch nada from this person. Okay, there's no agreement in between us for me. I recommend him because when I call him, he gives me good sound advice. I call him because ask him to do something and he does it. I recommend him because I call him and he calls me right back. Right? It may not be that day, but the next day he calls me back out of professionalism. Okay? And he has the heart of a teacher. So you were saying? Why 10 to 12 times? Yeah, for that reason. Okay? But let's talk about whole life insurance. Yes?
What's the difference between term and whole life?
Yeah, okay. Term insurance is just, like I said, plain insurance, life insurance a la carte. That's it. You die, they pay. You don't die, they don't pay. They don't do anything for you. It's just there to cover you, just like your car insurance is, okay? Car insurance does nothing for you until you have an accident. Then they do something for you, okay? So that's what term insurance is. Whole life insurance, okay? And they put different names for it, okay? First of all, it has the highest payout for the insurance agent that sells it. Has the highest payout for them, okay? What that means is, I sell you whole life insurance, half of the amount that you're paying comes right to me. Comes right to me, okay? Whole life insurance is two things bundled into one. It looks nice. It's a hybrid of sorts, okay? They sell it as, this is life insurance, but it also is an investment. Okay, that's how they sell it. Okay, and they say, hey, guess what? It's great because you're paying into it, and it grows cash value, is what they say. Okay, and if you die, we'll pay you. So then all of a sudden, something happens, you die, and your family goes, hey, we want the life insurance. They said, here's the life insurance, and he said, but what about the investment? Oh no, we're keeping that. Okay. Or you go, hey, it's fully matured. I want to get the cash value. Okay, here's the cash. What about the life insurance? Oh, you forfeited that. You're not getting that. So it's either one or the other. It's a shell game. Now you might say, are you saying, Pastor Sway, that whole life insurance is completely worthless? No, I'm not. There is a time when whole life insurance does have value. There's only one occasion that, in my opinion, okay, that it has value. And that is when all of a sudden you have been claimed that you have terminal cancer. And you're uninsurable, and no insurance company will ever come next to you because they know you're going to die, right? They know you're going to die in a very soon future. Which insurance company is going to take a chance on you when you're terminal and you've got stage 4 cancer and the cancer is metastasized through your body? Whole life insurance is beautiful then because it's the only thing that you can get. Does that make sense? And they will sell it to you. Isn't that interesting, though? I mean, seriously, isn't it interesting? I mean, how much value is there is it when the person has cancer, they're still willing to sell it to you. And they know it's not going to work out. Why? Because it really is not a great product, by and large. Why do I say that? For the same, let me show you. Here is the final card that I'm throwing on the table. Bam. Are you ready? This is my trump card. Here we go. For the same amount of money, for one whole life insurance policy, I can take those $5 that I was spending on the whole life. It's just a representative because you can't get whole life for $5. It's very expensive. Okay? Someone I spoke to yesterday told me they're paying like $103, I think they told me. Okay? So I take those $5. 2 of them I use to buy term life insurance. That leaves 3 left. I take those 3 and I invest them. I'm going to end up a lot better. And yes, I have life insurance, and yes, I have an investment, and I get to keep both, and no one can take either from me. Does that make sense? Okay? Any questions about term and whole life, please? Yes?
So which one should you get if you want to get it for your grandchild? Term?
If you want to get what?
For your grandchild.
For your grandchild. Okay, I wouldn't insure my grandchild's life. Again, I go back to the point that I made just a moment ago, that if my son is single, just graduated from college, has no debt, nobody's depending on his income, why doesn't he need life insurance? Okay? The moment he gets married, he now has a spouse who's depending on him. Then he needs life insurance. Okay? By the way, if a child dies, it's very, very unfortunate. I'm not making light of it. Please understand, we're only talking about the financial aspects of it. Okay? How much does a funeral cost to bury a child? Somewhere around $6,000. Okay? But no one was depending on that child to provide any income, correct? Yes. No one was depending on the child. Okay? If you're depending on the child to provide income, we're talking about slave labor. Right? That's what we're talking about. We're taking advantage of the child now. Yes. Does that answer your question? Okay, beautiful. Any other questions before we move on? Going, and gone. Here we go. All right, major purchases. Purchases should be saved up for over time. Okay? Major purchases should be considered, carefully considered while getting out of debt. You might say, well, I want to buy a new car. Really? And then my question is, do you really want to get out of debt? Well, I want to get the new TV, you know, that screen that kind of rolls down. I think it's going to look really good. Keep your tube TV and pay off your debts. Okay? Automobiles are major purchases that should always be planned for. It's my goal to never, ever finance a car. Ever again. Why? Because they go down in value like a rock. Did you catch that? By the way, that was a throwback to the Chevy commercials a long time ago. Like a rock. Yes, they go down like a rock. You buy the car. Once you drive it off the car lot, the value is a few $1,000s less, and you just bought a brand new car. Okay? They're not an investment. All they are vehicles. Okay? So I save up. Vehicles are transportation. Transportation provides mobility, but nothing more. What's the difference between a nice Mercedes 300 CE convertible and a hoopty that I bought for $1,000? I just ride from point A to point B and a little bit nicer, and people look a little bit more. But transportation, that's all it is. At the end of the day, it's transportation. Oh, by the way, yeah, the maintenance on the 300 CE is a whole lot more. Yes. I do lots of investigations into cars before I buy them. My son's car, I bought him a Honda Fit, a 2010 Honda Fit. Do you know how long I researched that car before I bought it for him? 1 year. I was reading magazines up and down. I was seeing what the Honda Fit was going into the shop for. What were the benefits? What were reviews? I was reading multiple reviews on the car. For my car, for my Subaru, I did lots of investigation on it. Lots and lots of investigation. Watched lots of videos, read little articles, different things like that. And you might say, is that what you like to do? Actually, I'm kind of weird that way. I do like to do that. I call that entertainment for me. Okay? But I haven't had any major problems with my cars at all. My cars only like gas and oil changes and tire rotations. The rest, it's good. It's really good. Doesn't complain, doesn't cough, doesn't hiccup, doesn't burp. Okay? The car just keeps doing what I'm telling it to do. Yes, Sandra. Hold on.
What happens if unexpectedly your vehicle breaks down and the cost of repairing it is so major, you don't have the finances or it's not cost efficient to put that extra money into that vehicle because it's old. You've run it for, I had a vehicle that I ran for 13 years. The cost of making the repairs because something happened, to repair it was a lot more than what the car was worth, or what that car would be worth in the future.
Sure.
So is it better to buy a vehicle, trade that vehicle in, or buy another vehicle at that time?
Sure.
Or
yes,
okay.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
So for example, let's talk about the refrigerator. I like your example of the refrigerator. You got to fix your refrigerator, okay? If the repair, here's the golden rule. You may want to write this down, okay? If you're going to make a replacement of a major appliance or a vehicle, if the cost to repair it exceeds 50% of the total cost to replace the whole thing, then replace it. So let's say all of a sudden, let's put it in real terms, right? My car, something happens, the transmission goes bad. It costs me $3,000 to $5,000 to change the transmission. Should I change the transmission? The answer is, it will cost me somewhere around $15,000 to $17,000 to buy a car cash. Yes, I'm replacing the transmission. And the other thing is, do I see that the car has a whole lot more life in it also, right? How many miles does the car have? Well, the car has 350,000 miles. I'm not changing the transmission. I'll buy another car. Okay? Once I hit 300,000 miles on my car, then I think it's kind of used up its life, right? It's kind of used in everything. So, did that answer your question, Sandra? Yes. Yes.
Do you have the same take on home warranty insurance
I don't do home warranty
as
insurance.
you do with the other insurance?
That's a great question. Okay. For example, like when I purchased my phone, they go, hey, do you want to buy the warranty on it? And I say, no. Why? Because I buy my phones. I don't go for the free phone. I buy my phone cash. I go on Amazon, and I find my model phone. It's a used phone, and they send it to me, and they say it's like new, and I'm like, I like it, okay? And they send it to me, and I put my little SIM card in, and I use it with my phone company, which I only pay like $35 a month for my phone service. You say, who do you use? I use Consumer Cellular, and no, I am not in bed with Consumer Cellular. Do I recommend Consumer Cellular? Yes, I do. Very, very good. Very cheap. I like it. Okay? It keeps my phone bill down. So do I recommend for you to buy Consumer Cellular? Yes. Am I recommend you tell them that I recommended you to them? Yes. And why am I saying that? Because I get a discount and you get the same discount. You get the same discount that I get. So if you say, no, Pastor Sway, now you're in bed with it, it's okay. You're in bed with it also once you recommend them. So you're getting the same benefit. I'm not getting any more benefit than you would get if you recommend me. Don't recommend me, that's fine. You still get the discount. You don't get the discount, but if you recommend me, I would get the discount. If someone recommends you, you would get that discount, and so would they. They get the same discount. So it's not I'm gaining more than you. No, it's not. Okay? So I do recommend Consumer Cellular. Very, very good company. Very, very good company. And their customer service, A1. A1 customer service. Phone service, they used all of the towers for AT&T. So it's the same service as AT&T, just with a different name, and you don't have to deal with a big company. Yeah, now mind you, if you are an AARP member, you get even a little bit more of a discount. And you can be 17 years old and be an AARP member. You pay $9, I think you pay $7 a year and you get $9 discount on your bill every month. That's a no-brainer. No, I think the yearly fee is $16, but you get $9 off of your bill every month. And I'm like, that sounds good to me. I do the math, it makes sense. Okay? All right, so anything on major purchases. So should I be buying a flat screen TV if I am trying to get out of debt? No. That's a good point. And the question is, should I be buying a flat screen TV during Black Friday if I'm serious and I want to get out of that? The answer is obvious. No. No, you shouldn't. What? Doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't, even if it's a deal, it doesn't matter. It does not matter, because the question is, where are your priorities? Where is it? I mean, is the dream really important that you just said, this is important, I want to have this dream. I want to retire with it. Do you really? Or do you want to buy something on Black Friday? Again, I can go into a store and I can go, I do not want anything. I just came for some garlic and I came for some onions and I'm going home. And green beans. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what I came for. Okay, that's the question. What is important to you? If your dream is truly important, then you should be willing to stick to it. Okay? Let's go on. All right. We have to move a little bit quicker. The biggest lie is that we need credit to survive. Now I'm going to handle the elephant in the room. Okay? Here we go. Credit and FICO. Don't take your picture yet. Credit and FICO scores are only a measure of being able to borrow money. Okay, that's it. In order to keep scores up, you need to continue to borrow money. Credit and FICO end up being a trap. You're a hamster in a wheel. Well, I need to borrow money. Why? Because I need to get up my score. Why do I need to get my score? So I can continue to borrow money. Why do I need to borrow money? So I can get up my score. It's just an endless cycle. Endless cycle. The best way is to live without credit. Oh, Pastor, what are you saying? But don't you need credit? Well, there are a lot of companies out there that even to hire you want to check your credit score. Okay? Zero is the most interesting number in math. Watch this. Let's take you back to math class. Is 0 positive or is it negative? The word that describes 0 best is it's undefined. It's undefined. You find that number between two odd numbers, you'd expect it to be even. It is not. It is undefined. So you either need to have a great credit score or your credit score needs to be 0. You might say, well, how's that going to help me? Isn't that going to hamper me? What about when I get a loan to buy a house, right? You either need to have a really good score or your score needs to be 0. You might say, well, they may not give me the loan. Well, you may want to go to another bank or to a different credit union, okay? There was a way to buy a house before in the 80s that was called manual underwriting. You may want to write that down if you're going to buy a house. Manual underwriting. okay? And it's where they would say, how long have you been living at your apartment? 2 years. Have you ever been late on their payment? No, never. They would call him and say, hey, oh, wow, yeah, Brother John Smith, that's such a nice guy. He even brings cookies during Christmas. Yes. Oh, he pays ahead of time. Can you believe that? Never pays late. Yeah, good guy. Oh, great. By the way, Mr. John Smith, your loan's going through. Manual underwriting. Now, mind you, there are some banks that are only doing the credit FICO score, and they look at the number and go, oh, if it's like 700 or above, you get the loan, right? A monkey could do the job. Okay? You're under 700? No loan. Okay? But there is something called manual underwriting that you could actually do. Now, mind you, you don't need credit now to purchase your car because you're buying your cars cash. So do you buy brand new cars? No, I buy cars that are like 2, 3 years old. And then make sure they're in great shape. And when I get it, I vacuum it out real quick, clean it real quick, and then put the new car smell into it. They sell that at AutoZone. You know that, right? New car smell. And then when people ride in the car, Pastor, you got a new car. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I don't care what you think anyways. If you don't like my Subaru Ford, I don't care. Right? I'm not living to impress you. I'm trying to make sense of my life. I don't need a Lexus. I'm not saying that Lexus is bad. Lexus is a very good car. But I'm not living to impress you. I'm living to make sense of my life. I'm living to honor God, and I'm living to do what's right by my wife and my son. Does this make sense? Yes, question here, then here.
What are your thoughts on home refinancing?
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
All right, concerning your home warranty, I don't do home warranties, to get back to you, because I didn't answer that. And you might say, well, why don't I do home warranties? Because I have an emergency fund, a fully funded emergency. I warranty myself. Get my phones, I take care of it. I get my TV, I take care of it. Try to be careful with the things that I buy. Hey, do you want to buy this warranty? No. No, because warranties are very overrated. Now, mind you, if I was going to purchase something for the church that was going to be handled every day, in and out, it probably would be a good idea to get a warranty on that, right? And then we're going to go right here. So did I answer your question? Yes. Okay, right here.
When buying a used car using your wisdom, what's the best mileage that you're looking at to be a benefit in buying the used car?
Very good, very good. Usually, like the Subaru that I bought was a lease. I don't recommend leases. They're called fleeces. They're there to take your wool, okay? And you might say, well, it's the lowest price. They're taking your wool at the end. You're not owning anything. You're renting a car. Do not do the fleece. I mean the lease. Do not do the lease. Okay? So I try to get a car that's maybe 2, 3 years old. Great shape, but I've done lots of research on the car. Does not like the car shop. Now, some great cars, Toyota makes a really, really good car. Pay attention to their models because not all models are perfect. Lexus makes a great car. Subaru makes pretty good cars. Okay? Honda makes pretty good cars. And mind you, it's not limited to that. I'd never buy a Jeep, by the way. Sorry if you're a Jeep lover out there. Okay? When I look at Consumer Reports, Jeep is the last one. Last one. I guess that's why poor people have it. Yeah, well, I don't know. Some people like Jeeps, and that's fine. Good luck for you. But I like my chances off where something says that it's going to really do. Mazda makes some pretty good cars. Again, not all models. Right? So do your research, make sure it's comfortable, make sure it's something that you're ready to live with and stay, and drive it until the wheels fall off. Drive it until the wheels fall off. Okay? Yeah, until it begins to get too rusty and, you're adding touch-up paint to it and it's not enough and, you're like, oh, goodness. Pastor Sway saw my car and he says, go ahead and just get another car, Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, good. Sandra?
You said that you don't recommend homeowner's warranty, but if you purchase an older home and part of it is, it was when you brought in the, home inspector, they they recognized that there were certain issues that would be coming up in the near future. Would it be wise then to have a home warranty or not?
I don't know. I think you'd have to look because, to be honest with you, a lot of those warranties, they promise the world and deliver peanuts. Okay? Yeah, so you have to look at the fine print. The other thing is I'd kind of do my homework in actually what actually those jobs might cost. I'd educate myself a little bit. So I'd balance it, I'd temper it with two things. How much do those jobs cost that I'm expecting to come up? Let me get 3 bids, right, for each of them, and that'll give me a good idea as to what it could cost. And I'd temper that with looking at the very fine details of the warranty, the little small print, that those little things that they're going to catch you on. Oh, you've got this deductible, and oh, whoa, and we only paid this % of it. Find out. Before you educate yourself before you make your purchase. Yeah.
You talked about the $1,000 for the emergency fund, starting with that.
Yes.
What's the recommendation for the monthly towards the emergency fund?
Let me see what's coming up next. Okay. All right, so if we go back to the baby steps, there we go. All right, here we go. Here we are looking at the baby steps. Let's walk through this very quickly. You first start off with your emergency fund. We have $1,000 secure. By the way, remember step 0, okay? We then move on to paying off our debts using the debt snowball. At the end of that, we come back to step 3. We come to step 3, and we begin to fund the emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of expenses. And you might say, why? What 3? When do I know if I only need 3 months of expenses or 6 months of expenses? It depends. Do you have an exciting job or do you have a boring job? Okay. You might say, well, how do I know if I have an exciting job or a boring job? Pastor Dan, do you mind me using you as an example? Okay. Pastor Dan, are you worried about losing your job? He has a very boring job. Okay. I have a boring job. It's the same thing. I'm not saying anything about Pastor Dan. Okay? If you have a job where all of a sudden it's very high pressure, high performance, you have to perform, because if not, they're going to kick you out or whatever the case may be, or you're doing a job that is kind of like on contract, and after that your contract is over, you have a very exciting job. You get it? It's very volatile. So in that case, your income is not stable, then you need 6 months of emergency fund. Does that make sense? That's how you determine 3 to 6 months. Did I answer your question? Yes. Okay, very good. All right, we're at the end of our presentation. Are there any questions before we finish up and I get to sit down with those for the appointments? Okay, let me put this information up because I said I'd put the information for my financial counselor. His name is Rick Hearn. All right. If you'd like to contact him, it's up to you. He can answer all of your questions, and I would highly recommend it. All right. Yes, question in the back.
You mentioned earlier who you would classify as immediate family members.
Yes.
What if you have to take care of your parents because of dementia or illness? Would you classify them as immediate members after the situation has started?
I would, if my parents have dementia, then they have income that's coming in, whether it be Social Security or their own retirement or anything, I would help them manage their funds as best as possible, right? I'd have them appoint me, right at the first signs, I would have them appoint me as power of attorney so that I can act on their behalf and I can protect their interests. I would also let my siblings know what I'm doing so that way they don't think that I'm stealing my mother or my father blind. Does that make sense? Yes.
And what do you suggest as far as if they have debt? Now they can't handle that because of their mental status. So do you take care of that, or?
Okay, very good, very good. Let's say that they are not in a great place, and I had to determine whether taking care of them was more important than their debts. I'd forget their debts completely. I'd make sure to take care of them. Okay? You might say, well, what about the debts? What about your responsibility? Aren't you denying your responsibility? If there's only enough money to take care of them, then they are their priority. Okay? They are the priority. Okay? You might say, well, what about the debts? Once they die, those debts go, they write them off, we're done. However, understand this, that what you own has to stand for what you owe. Do you understand that? So all of a sudden, my mother's name is on the house, and she's partial owner of the house. The credit company is still going to want their pound of flesh even after she died because she has some capital in the house. So that debt may continue to be outstanding, right? It may still have to be paid, all right? Was there another question? Right here.
Yeah. Speak a little bit on refinancing a home.
That's right, refinancing a home. All right. Have you ever noticed that the bank always wants you to refinance the loan? Okay. Did everybody get this number already so I can erase it?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No.
Oh, I love her. I love Roxy. You guys are so lucky to have this young lady here.
Yes, we are.
All right. So let me show you why they always want you to refinance your house. I'm going to show you this and you're going to be like, I get it. Remember the sound effect. Once I show you, you're going to go, Okay, let's practice. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, very good. Yes.
There is someone who is blocking the bus. If you could kindly move your car. Do you know what it looks like? Oh,
Okay.
Thank you.
So here is an amortization report. Okay, this is interest. This is principal. Okay? All right, are you with me? That's interest, that's principal. This is your first payment. Okay? It's almost pure interest, and there's 1 penny for principal. On your first payment on your house, it's $1,000. It's $995 is interest, and $5 went to principal. Are you with me? Yes. Okay, you with me? So watch this. You're into your loan. You're into your loan 10 years. Let's say 10 years, right? 10 years. Here we go. There we go. Beautiful. Don't you love I missed my calling, right? I should have been an artist. Okay. All right. So you're here at 10 years. Right here, they have already accepted from you the lion's share of the interest for your loan. And they say, Mr. Smith, we would love to refinance your loan for you. You've only got this much left to pay, and with the refinance, we'll lower your payment. What they're trying to do is get you back over here, where they can get the lion's share of your interest again. Yes, it's the same thing.
Oh, good Lord, no.
It's the same thing. All loans work the same. There's no difference. All loans work the same. Yes.
So over, say like your mortgage is a 30-year mortgage, and you reach like 15 year, and you have another 15 year to go, and you build some equity in your home. can you not take a second mortgage and take the equity, take the equity?
Bad idea, Brandy.
Please, don't take out a second mortgage on your home. Don't take out a second. I would rather cut off my hand than take a second mortgage. And you know you don't want to cut off your hand. You're putting a second weight around your neck. And you're trying to move forward. You can't. Don't do that.
Sorry. What if when you took out that mortgage, the rate was very high?
Sure.
And then now the market shows that the rate went down.
Go ahead and refinance. That's fine to a lower interest if you can. Now, mind you, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're going to stay in the house, I guess I'd have to know the details, right? But here's the thing. First of all, if you financed your house for 30 years, you will pay for that house 3 times. If the house costs you $100,000, you'll pay $300,000. If you finance that car for 20 years, you will pay for the for 15 years, you will pay for the house twice. If it costs you $100,000, it will cost you $200,000. $100,000 will be the finances. I mean the interest. Okay? So I do not recommend for you to buy a house for 30 years, but let's say that that's what you can afford, right? The 15-year you can't afford because it's a higher payment. Buy for the 30, but pay extra. Pay extra. Okay? Because it's going to kill the years. It's going to bring down the years drastically. Again, I would never do a second mortgage. But if your finances are in order, like I'm recommending for you to do, why would there be need for you to do a second mortgage? No, don't do that. To buy another house? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Pay off your house first, then buy another house. Yes.
Can I make a comment only?
Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, 1 second. There's a dark, kind of like a dark blue Prius that's kind of parked in the middle, and that's still blocking the bus. If you could kindly move that.
Because if not, the bus will move the Prius.
That's nobody here.
No one in here?
That's my Prius over there.
A dark? It's kind of like it's in the middle. Someone's facing this way, kind of in the middle. Yeah. It was a Prius.
Okay. All right, your
Toyota.
question, Sandra.
Okay, get the license plate.
I was going to make a comment in that if you just so happen to have already refinanced as a result of trying to get a lower interest rate, that's fine. However, for me, I think it's fine. However, I would continue paying that same mortgage, so that way I would get ahead and also try to get that, knock it out faster. That's just my recommendation.
That's right. Pay extra towards it so you can get rid of it, right? But make sure that you're also following the debt snowball. Make sure all of your other debts are paid first. Don't try to fight 2 people at one time. Remember? 1 at a time. Laser focus. Okay. I think that covers all of the questions. And Chidi, where do I sit to meet with people?
Do you want to stay here, or do you want to go to the fellowship hall? Or you can go into one of the classrooms in the back.
Wherever I'm going to be, I'm going to need privacy with people. So I can
Okay,
be very,
so
very honest.
you use the middle classroom because it has a table, so that way you can review worksheets.
Okay.
All right, in case you're first. And then after that is...
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. You guys are a great crowd.
You know what? I picked the last one. Do you still want it? Because you canceled your name.
Yeah, I canceled. I sort of kind of want it, but then at the same time.
It's up to you. You have the last one, so...